Peace. Today's mathematics is equality, which represents the number 6. And today I wanted to expound a little bit on the principle of equality in a practical way, just like I do with all of our supreme mathematics. And I strive to be consistent about that because sometimes as 5%ers, we tend to come across as a little abstract and it may be difficult to understand what we actually mean. So if we say things like knowledge of my power is my equality, or my wisdom of my culture is equality, or understand and understood, and it's like, okay, how? What is a very practical example of understanding being understood, or wisdom of your culture, or knowledge of power? Or even if we say things like equality means to be equal in everything, well, give me an example. What does that mean actually? So today I wanted to just expound a little bit on equality. When you think about equality, there are various different characteristics that are associated with it, or synonyms. And it's like that with any of our principles of supreme mathematics. You have associated words. So when you look at equality, you see associated words or characteristics like equity, harmony, fairness, balance, homeostasis. These and many other different characteristics gives you a more well-rounded perspective of what equality actually is. Also, in a very practical way, when we say we show forth our equality, we're not just talking about sharing our opinion, because a lot of us love to do that. We tell people what we think, but that's not a very practical example of really showing forth your equality. Some of those examples of showing forth your equality is institution building. If you're an entrepreneur, you're a business owner, what type of goods and services are you actually providing that is fairly available to your customer base that helps them have a sense of equity within the spaces where they live or where they exist at? Volunteering your time. What type of sweat equity are you invested in order to help support projects, programs, and initiatives in your community? These are all basic examples of showing forth your equality. Also, just being gainfully employed, right? That's showing forth your equality, because if you think about it, working is an investment in your municipality, and all of us are citizens somewhere. If you're watching this, you're not off the grid. Right? So we live in municipalities. We're citizens in an environment where we're enjoying some of the services that are provided by that city government through our taxes. So if you're taking your children to the park, being able to upkeep that park, being able to make sure that there are different things that are accessible to children at that park is all done through taxes. So you're literally supporting the parks publicly by being gainfully employed. If there's something going on and you have to contact law enforcement or the police department or, the fire department, your taxes pay for that. The roads or the infrastructure in your municipality are paid for by taxes. So to not be gainfully employed and not to invest and do your part in the public services that we are actually enjoying shows that that is not a sense of equality. It's actually inequality. So something just as basic as that, just being gainfully employed and doing your part to help support the services in the municipality where you live, is showing forth your equality. Right now, I'm in my Atlantis School for Gifted Youngsters, and it's something that I've always shared on my channel once I established this initiative. And if you look in the description, I give more information of where you can go to learn more about my Atlantis School for Gifted Youngsters, and also how you can support. I just finished this. This is a remote control operated ceiling fan that I have installed. And this institution is a private estate that I actually own. It is not being leased. It's not something that I'm paying a mortgage on. I literally own this, and my investment in this was to create an early childhood learning center and after school program for youth in my community, because where this community is, it's known as a child care desert. It's the same thing as like a food desert, where a lot of children in this area don't have access to early childhood learning centers. So that's also one reason why I wanted to create this institution, to make it accessible to youth in my community. I wanted to take you upstairs and check this out. Fully renovated the bathroom for our youth. So I've laid down new floors, new drywalling, primed, painted. I also installed these two. So I have a vintage theme here in my Atlantis school. This particular area is going to be a library for our youth. And this is just another way that I show forth my equality. And I'm not saying that everybody has to do something like this. If you are interested in actually institution building, then I can definitely give you insight on how to get this done. But there are many different practical ways that we can show forth our equality, aside from giving our opinion and saying what we think about things, because everybody does that. But the actual work is really an investment financially, as well as our sweat equity in getting things done in order to help establish a sense of balance and homeostasis in our communities, fairness, harmony, as well as equity. So if you wanted more information about my Atlantis School, just go to the description. I usually put that in my video so that you could get more insight into what I'm actually doing, in addition to some of the other things that you see me sharing with my projects, programs, initiatives, and speaking engagements. But this Atlantis School is really the foundation of everything that I'm doing. So this was inspiring, it was empowering, it was educational, and it was motivating for a lot of us who are not really giving all we have and doing all within our power to make sure that we're really show forth in some real, actual, tangible, practical equality outside of just giving our opinions or just sharing what we think. So, peace.